Shabbat Shalom. One person clapping back there. Thank you, Steve. Olam chesed yivaneh. That's it. Yadadai, lai, lai, yadadai, lai. Olam chesed yivaneh. Olam chesed yivaneh. Yadadai, lai, lai, yadadai, lai. Olam chesed yivaneh. Try singing it. Olam chesed yivaneh, yadadai, dai, dai, yadadai, dai. Olam chesed yivaneh, yadadai, dai, dai, yadadai, dai. Olam chesed
I didn't know any of them. I've spoken in synagogues across the country, but I've never spoken in Tree of Life. I've actually never been to Pittsburgh. I didn't know any of them, but I know every single one of them. because I spent my life in synagogues and I know who shows up to a synagogue first thing in the morning. It's a very special soul who shows up 9 o'clock in the morning in a conservative synagogue. It's a doctor who wants to catch the early morning Kaddish before he goes on rounds. Because even though it's Shabbos, he has obligations to patients who are ailing. It's an accountant whose soul is empty because of the ravages of business and comes to meditate and contemplate and read the early morning prayers all by himself. It's two loving brothers who make up in kindness, compassion, and spirit and love what they might lack in cognitive acuity, who come to just welcome everyone into the shul. It's a Holocaust survivor who believes despite it all. And her faith is her resistance to the evil that her eyes have seen and her ears have heard. I know every one of them. I know them intimately, and I miss them already. Welcome to the oldest religious ritual we have. When someone we love has lost someone they love, we gather in their home. We gather in their home and fill the home with all the signs of life, with words of love and memory and stories, with conversation and song and prayer, with food. All the signs of life so that they know they are welcome back into the world of the living. This is Shiva, the last night of Shiva. And it is our obligation to be sure that no one gets stuck at the cemetery, no one gets stuck in the darkness. Each one has the courage and strength and confidence to turn back to the light and say yes to life. Welcome to Shiva. We need to sit Shiva, because all of us have been wounded deeply this week, because 11 souls were murdered just because they were Jews. Just because they were Jews. It's a phrase that I prayed I would never have to utter. My father taught me that when I was a little kid, and a kid called me a name, and we got into a fight, and I said, "Pop, why does he hate me?" And Pop said, "Just because we're Jews." But my children grew up in a different world, a more enlightened world. Just because they were Jews. So we will grieve together and mourn together and hold each other tight, and then rise up from our grieving to hope and pray for something better, so that maybe the next generation will not be fated to hear those words. We rise together now, embrace one another, and bring each other close that we might welcome the Shabbos. Shalom Aleichem Malchei Hasharet. Welcome to the angels of peace that have come to bless us.
Shalom Aleichem Malchei Hasharet Malchei Elyon Miri Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Miri Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch. Baruch Hu L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom. Say
Shabbos has come, and with it the light of Shabbat. We bless the Shabbos candles.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehaliknem shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. Please be seated. I'd like to welcome a dear friend, Carol Karansky, leader in the Jewish Federation of Los Angeles, respected leader of the Jewish community about the world, representing the Federation, representing the entire Jewish community. She gathers with us tonight. Carol.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank all of you for being here. Yesterday morning, I had the opportunity to speak with Jeff Finkelstein, who's the CEO of the Pittsburgh Federation. And thank you, because this is what he asked for. When we asked, what can we do to help you? What can we do to help your community? He said, gather on this Shabbat and be there together. We gather in our individual synagogues on this Shabbat, but we're really linking to our community in Los Angeles, in North America, and in Israel. As a community, we share our pain, our shock and grief, also our strength and resolve. We have concerns and questions. What can we do to support our family in Pittsburgh? What do we need to do here in Los Angeles? Yesterday, when Jeff spoke, he shared a couple of thoughts that I wanted to share with you. He said that it was the power of community that is getting them through, and that power is in relationships among the synagogues, law enforcement, the interfaith community, and particularly with Jewish communities across the world. They've been inundated with offers of assistance, and other communities have had to step in and guide them through. The Israel Trauma Coalition, which was created by the Los Angeles and New York Federations, was on the ground there immediately, bringing their unfortunate expertise. And today they spent the day with the professionals who have been working with people all week, debriefing them, allowing them to finally go through their own grief and shock that they had to put aside to help others. Rabbi Myers shared with Jeff the fact that because there was active shooting training that they received through the system that you all help support, he was able to save 4 other people. It would have been even worse. They have been setting up services to help their community. They have been grateful for the support of our community. And again, what he really asked was for us to gather tonight, because what we do here tonight reverberates back to Pittsburgh. It strengthens them and it strengthens us.
When God created the world, the first thing created was light. And the light filled the world with energy and life and power. But according to the mystical tradition, that light was so powerful that God feared it would fall into the wrong hands. So God hid that light. And then the angels objected, how can you leave the world without your light, without your creative power? So God assured them that the light is planted like seeds in the ground. And the righteous and the good, the visionary, the dreamers, they'll find the light. And they'll bring it to illuminate the darkness. And so the psalmist wrote, Or zarua la tzadik u'leyishrei lev simcha. The light is sown, planted, waiting for those to come and to nurture it. We welcome to the bima our dear friend Bob Een, member of the congregation, world-renowned musician, for cello composition meditation, Or zarua la tzadik. prayer book, page 21, Lecha Dodi.
לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המאוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה בנר שבת נקבלה לך לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם לסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה בנר שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בנר שבת נקבלה. We rise and face the rear as we eat the Shabbat bride. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ברינה ובשעלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בנר שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בנר שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בנר שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בנר שבת נקבלה.
Shabbat Shalom. First, I want to express some gratitude to our esteemed guests, to our extraordinarily talented musicians, and to Rabbi Ed Feinstein for bringing this community together, to inviting the entire San Fernando Valley community and all of our friends in the greater Los Angeles area to be a part of our family on this Shabbat. This is our great feeling of oneness. in all the different places where we have come, we are here as one. The great philosophers and professors of world's religions, in studying all of the different traditions of the peoples of the world, have discovered that there is one common thread between all of our expressions of what is right and true. Love the other. Every world religion teaches this fundamental precept: love the other. In our tradition, we have a word that describes this: ahava. And in a moment, we're entering into our prayers of the evening, and this word ahava is woven between the phrases and the poetry to bring us closer to oneness. This word ahava in our tradition is a foundation. We play with the word. We hold on to it lovingly. We protect it, and we share it. That's why when you pay close attention, even the letters have deep meaning. Ahava in Hebrew, the letters Aleph, He, Bet, and He, have a numerical value of 13. There is another word in Hebrew, echad, a word that will also be woven through the prayers that we will express tonight together. Echad also has a value in number, 13. Echad, oneness, togetherness, reaching across the differences and finding each other. Every world religion teaches this. Every day we practice this. We seek it. We long for it. We take it from our sacred spaces and we bring it out into the world beyond. There's one beautiful other teaching about this word echad and ahava. When two come together, echad and echad, when you see the other in love as our tradition and every world tradition teaches, then you find the presence of God. Do the math. Find the name of God in your prayers tonight. Yud, He, Vav, He is one and the other. And when we see the other, as we do tonight, God's presence will be felt. We rise together. We enter into prayer now with the words of Baruch Hu on page 28.
Right.
Please be seated. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu asher barei
ומעבירי יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המריב הרבים. אהבת עולמות בית ישראל אהבתה תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת על כן ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. Let's join together on page 30. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. וים שמות ישמע מצוותי אשר אני on page 31. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם
Adonai Elohim, Emet. When I was a little kid and took a walk with my grandfather, my Zayda was born in Europe. Whenever we would pass by a church, he would grab me by the wrist and pull me across the street. In Zayda's world, in the world of the Europe that he grew up in, churches were no place for Jews, and the church was always someplace dangerous. So he pulled me across the street to save me. Last Shabbos, after the service, I went up to my office and turned on my computer, which is something I don't normally do. But I needed to know what was happening. And on one side of the screen was the CNN report of the reports of what was going on in Pittsburgh, and on the other side were the messages popping up. The first message from the local Presbyterian minister, and then the Episcopal minister, and then the Catholic priest, and then my friend who was an imam, and then the Sikh community here in the valley. And one by one, each of the faith communities came forward and offered prayers and help and solidarity and hope. It is a different world than the world my Zayda grew up in. A world in which people of faith understand that whatever divides us, what unites us is so much stronger. And so tonight I am deeply moved by two dear friends from the faith community who have come to be with us. First is a new friend, the Reverend Father Bob Honeychurch, is pastor, preacher, teacher, and worship leader in the Episcopal Church. He is professor of church leadership at the Episcopal Theological School in Claremont, serves as interim pastor of the Church of Our Savior in San Gabriel, has served dioceses and have served parishes in Montana, Idaho, Northern California, Southern California, and is a worship leader for the entire Episcopal Church. Father Bob came tonight to worship with us and to hold us close. Please welcome him.
Shabbat Shalom. First of all, a word of thanks to Rabbi Ed Feinstein and to Cantor Phil Barron, but most especially a thank you to this entire congregation here at Valley Beth Shalom for the invitation to be a part of this service of solidarity this evening. It is indeed a privilege to stand alongside you, particularly in this time of tragedy and grief, as we gather to remember and to give thanks for the lives of the 11 dearly loved children of God who lost their lives at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh less than a week ago now. In the Christian tradition, yesterday we celebrated the Feast of All Saints' Day, a day set aside to honor and to remember and to give thanks for all of the men and women who have come before us and who have paved the way, who have shown by their life and their witness and their example just a glimpse of the goodness of God. It is a day which connects us to one another, to our past and to our future. It connects us to all of creation, and it connects us most especially to God, in whose image each of us was lovingly and tenderly created. And so, as a part of our service just last evening, we remembered by name all of those people we hold dear in our hearts, people who had died, but whose memory lived on in the people gathered together. And included in that litany of names were 11 new additions, people who loved and were loved by God, and who lost their lives just last Saturday morning. And so we prayed for Daniel and for Joyce, for Richard and Rose and Jerry. We prayed for Cecil and David, for Bernice and Sylvan, for Melvin and Irving. Now, even though none of us personally knew any of those 11 people killed in Pittsburgh, we stood in solidarity with them because we share a common story. Their stories and our stories are so knit together in the story of God that they have become inseparable. They have become one story. We have become one story. And so I stand before you this evening to tell you that our hearts are broken. Not irreparably, but broken nonetheless. A part of the healing of those broken hearts happens when we gather together as we are doing this evening for services such as tonight. And a part of that healing takes place when we commit ourselves once again to become agents of peace and agents of justice, even in a world where they are both so sorely lacking. On All Saints' Day, just last evening, it was a reminder that each of us are a part of a great line of people who have come before. A day for claiming that our story is really not just ours alone, but a story which has been passed forward for our safekeeping for generations yet to come. Our view of the horizon comes only from standing on the shoulders of those who have come before us. And there will be others who must someday stand upon our shoulders for that story to continue to grow and flourish in the days to come. And so, our view of the horizon is a little clearer today than it was just last Saturday, as we now stand on the shoulders of Daniel and Joyce, of Richard and Rose and Jerry, of Cecil and David, and Bernice and Sylvan, and Melvin and Irving. May their memories be a blessing. And now let us stand side by side and shoulder to shoulder once again, that we might carry on the work which God has set before us, to do justice, and to love kindness, and to walk humbly with our God. Thank you very much.
Diane White Clayton, world-renowned composer, vocalist, pianist, conductor, speaker, author, clinician, choral director at Faith Central Bible Church in Inglewood, California, a church which has just 6,000 members. And they actually come to Shul Shabbos, you know. Led by a remarkable Bishop Ulmer, who's been our guest. Where she is the founder and conductor of the Sacred Praise Chorale. But here she is very, very, very affectionately welcomed as Dr. D. She has prayed with us. She has risen us up, lifted us up. She has rocked us. So when we needed comfort and when we needed strength, we asked Dr. D to come and to pray with us. I want to welcome her husband, Joe, who's with us too. She didn't bring the choir this time, but she brought her remarkable gifts of spirit, and gifts of blessing. Dr. D, welcome. It is an honor to have you here.
Thank you, Rabbi. I feel like I'm at home. I've been here so many times, and as with family, it's always exciting to see family, but yet sad at times like this. I do extend a greeting on behalf of my pastor, who is so regretful that he could not be here this evening. I also stand honoring my own father, who, as a Baptist pastor in Washington, D.C., who's now in heaven, stood by the side of many of our Jewish brothers and sisters during the civil rights to protest. Our histories go back so far. And I wanted to, it's interesting that you said I would come to pray with you, because the song that I'm going to sing is a prayer. It's a prayer that was composed many, many, many years ago by a man who had gone through a lot of pain, having lost his wife and newborn baby, Thomas Dorsey. And it's the same song that Dr. King, before he died, asked that Mahalia Jackson would sing at his homegoing. And it is a prayer that I ask that you pray with me. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired. I am weak, and I am worn, so worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me on. When my way grows dreary, precious Lord, linger near. When my life is almost gone, hear my cry, hear my hold my hand, lest I fall. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me on. At the river I stand, guide our feet to that land. Take our hands, take our lead us on home.
We return now to the prayer book, page 32.
malchut Farao vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe, malchut Farao vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe. Sing with us. Ugalo miyad chazak mimenu baruch atah Adonai gal Yisrael.
Every day we pray and every day we ask God for blessings except Shabbat. On Shabbos we are forbidden to ask for anything. Only one thing, only one demand, only one request, only one bakasha. One prayer of petition is offered on Shabbos. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'amidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Let us go to sleep in peace and wake up to life. And that is, after all, the prayer we've all brought tonight. Let us go to sleep in peace and let us wake up to life. I want to welcome a very, very dear and old friend of mine, Craig Taubman, a world-renowned musician and composer.
Keep with the dear, not with the old.
And getting older. I remember when he was young. He wasn't so dear back then, but now he's... Don't mess with a rabbi, Craig. Please welcome my dear friend, Craig.
Thank you, old rabbi. We've all had much to watch, too much to read. We all have a lot to say, and now it's simply a time to pray. Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall, no one would hear. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come shining through, 'cause you'll reach out and shine again. Lift your head and look around. You will be found.
Let's bring it up one level higher. O Javo Shalom. O Javo Shalom Aleinu. Come on. O Javo Shalom Aleinu. O Javo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kulam. O Javo Shalom. O Javo Shalom Aleinu. O Javo Shalom Aleinu. O Javo Shalom Aleinu. Shalom Aleinu, O Javo Shalom Aleinu, O Javo Shalom Aleinu,
Don't sit down, we got more prayers to say. Turn to page 34th and pray today. It's time to do Vishamru if you can sing. Shabbat. Go.
יתקדל ויתחדש שמי רבה וירמד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל בגאווה ובזמן קריב וימרו יהי שמי רבה מבורך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרימם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקודשה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה אמירון לעולמה וימרו
Moments of personal quiet prayer. The words of the Amidar are found on page 35. As you finish your prayers, you're welcome to be seated.
Osei shalom bimroma, huya asei shalom aleinu. Osei shalom bimroma, huya asei shalom aleinu. Osei shalom bimroma. Shalom aleinu, Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu.
שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Thank you. In a day or so, the story will be pushed off the headlines, and some other story will take its place. In a day or so, we will stop paying attention to Pittsburgh and pay attention to Washington or New York or some other place. In a day or so, it will stop being a national story. It'll revert to the private grief of families who lost loved ones. In a day or so, it'll stop being a story that we talk about. We'll go back to our lives, back to the worlds we come from, a little wounded, a little sore, a little broken, but back to some sort of routine. Before that happens, let's remember simply this. This is no abstraction. 11 human beings with names and stories and background, with experiences, with hopes and dreams, with prayers, with tallis bags full with bar mitzvah candy. 11 souls. Joyce Feinberg, Yiddish Bolcha bat Ava Menachem. Jerry Rabinowitz, Yehuda ben Yechezkel. David Rosenthal, David ben Eliezer. Cecil Rosenthal, Chaim ben Eliezer. Irving Younger, Yitzchak Chaim ben Menachem. Dan Stein, Daniel Avram ben Baruch. Rose Mallinger, Reisel bas Avram. Richard Godfried, Yosef ben Chaim. Bernice Simon, Bella Rochel bat Moshe. Sylvan Simon, Zalman Shachne ben Menachem Mendel. Melvin Wax, Moshe Godel ben Yosef. May their memories, each of their memories, be a blessing. Before we recite memory prayers, let's gather in just one story of two sweet brothers. Invite my friend Ron Wolfson to share this story.
I never met Cecil and David Rosenthal. May their memories always be a blessing, but I knew them. I can see Cecil, described as a gentle giant by his family and many, many friends, standing at the front door of the Tree of Life Sanctuary, greeting everyone who arrived there with a broad smile and a strong handshake. I can hear him offering every person who came through those doors a warm word of welcome. Shabbat Shalom. Good morning. His brother-in-law, Michael Hurt, said in his eulogy that Cecil could have been the mayor of Pittsburgh if not for his developmental challenges he triumphantly overcame, to be the most beloved person in that community. His brother David, quieter by nature, was no less beloved, admired for his fastidiousness, taking care to hand out sidurim, prayer books, to those arriving, and ensuring that talitot, the prayer shawls, were lovingly cared for. They were the greeters, the ambassadors, the makable panim, the face of the sacred community. How sadly ironic that these warm souls were murdered in cold blood by a stranger with anti-Semitism flowing through his veins on the very Shabbat when we read the Torah portion, Vayera, where we learn the story of Abraham and Sarah's tent, the classic text teaching us the Jewish value, the deep Jewish value of Haknasat Orchim, welcoming guests. Sitting in the heat of the day, at the entrance of his tent, 3 strangers appear to Abraham. He runs to greet them. My lords, if it please you, do not go past your servant. Did Abraham know who these men were? In that split second of recognition, did Abraham wonder if there was malice in their hearts, or were they just wanderers in search of a morsel of bread and a drink of water? It did not matter to Abraham. He ran to greet the strangers, as undoubtedly so did Cecil and David, who cared not whether those entering the synagogue were members or guests, rich or poor, gay or straight, Republican or Democrat. What they never imagined was that a stranger filled with hate for Jews would enter a welcoming sanctuary intent on massacre. I, like you, am devastated by the loss of these 2 sweet men who were so deeply valued by a community who appreciated their greetings. And I'm heartbroken that we will once again consider the awful necessity of hardening the targets, our synagogues, schools, centers, campuses, and organizations. There will be those who assert that we must do this no matter the cost, both economically and spiritually, in order to protect our people against those who seek to do us harm. There will be others who will say that security guards with pistols would have no chance against a crazed assassin wielding an AR-15. I wonder what Cecil and David would have us do. Somehow, I believe they would understand the need for security measures on the perimeter of the building, but they would teach the guards how to say Shabbat Shalom and Shana Tova to everyone, even as they search purses and talit bags, as many of our security personnel already do. I know they would never want us to stop greeting each other. They would likely tell us how wonderful it would be if all of us knew each other like they did. For building a community of relationships begins by telling each other our stories, by knowing each other's names, by being there for each other in good times and sad. Tonight and tomorrow, tens of thousands of us are gathering across the country. We're showing up in our synagogues for Solidarity Shabbat to stand with the Pittsburgh Jewish community. There have been and will be, as tonight, beautiful prayers and words of comfort. There will be regulars in our pews and many guests. There will be heightened security, likely causing delays to enter our buildings and crowded pews filled with those we know and those we don't. But let us honor the memory of Cecil and David by practicing their art of hospitality and welcome each other with a smile and a handshake and a warm embrace. As we gather tonight to grieve and remember, let us resolve that the Rosenthal boys would never, never allow hate to trump love.
For Cecil and David and all the others, we recite memorial prayers. We rise together.
שוכן במרומי המצי מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה בימלאת קדושים ומעלות קדושים ודיורים כזוהר הרקיע מאירים ומזהירים נשמות כל אלה שהזכרנו היום לברכה שנהרגו בידי הרוצח בפיטסבורג ושיילכו began בסתר כנפיך לעולם בצרור החיים בצרור החיים את נשמותיהם בצרור החיים את נשמותיהם אדוני הוא נחלתם ינוחו בשלום
God, source of life and author of death, Grant perfect peace in your sheltering presence and in the presence of all whose lives are full and whole and pure, to the souls of all those who were taken from us this week. May God be mindful of all that they gave to the world. Protect their souls under the wings of the Almighty, and let them rest now in peace. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabba, v'yalmad divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chaye echon uv'yom echon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'galau v'zman kariv v'yamru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mivarach Leolam Olmei Olmaya, Yit Barach V'yishtabach V'yit Pa'ar V'yit Ramam V'yit Naseh, V'yit Hadar V'yit Aleh V'yit Halal Shemei Dekudsha Brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya, V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. We remain standing again for the Shabbos Kaddish, followed by Aleinu l'Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei Peri Hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho me'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים. על כן נקבל לך אדוני. פגעתו מתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
among us who bring their personal grief tonight, we ask those who recite the Kaddish in memory of loved ones, observance of Yartzeit. The Kaddish is found on page 52. Please remain standing as everyone else is seated. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabba, v'yalmad yivrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yom echon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagalau vizman kariv yimru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach leolam olmeo maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekud shabrichu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. V'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Please be seated.
One more word. One more blessing. I want you to turn to the person next to you, look them right in the eye, and say, "It's good to see you." Now turn the other way and say, "It's good to see you." It's good to see all of you. It's good to be here. The attack last Shabbat morning that took the lives of 11 of our brothers and sisters, tragedy. But I would be remiss if I also didn't point out that the world in which we find ourselves seemed to be filled not only with hatred right now, but with violence. Just a day before this tragedy, 2 African-American senior citizens were killed because they were black. And a huge assassination plot was unfolding at the same time. These attacks on us, on our African-American brothers and sisters, on our political friends and enemies, these attacks are attack on our entire way of being. This attack that happened during Shabbat is an attack on the idea of Shabbat itself. The idea that we can be one. The idea that we can overcome our differences to work together. The idea that we are trying to make a more perfect union. The idea of the promise of being here and the poetry that is the United States of America. To overcome this hatred, this bigotry, we have to overcome the either-or paradigm that is at the heart of all hatred. It is the hatred that says, when you win, I must lose. Or for me to win, you must lose. But we know that freedom and redemption cannot be at the expense, the blood, the treasure of other people. True redemption, as it says in the Elenu, is a redemption for all. When God created the world, God started with an admixture of light and darkness. And God felt his way, or God felt God's way through the darkness and pulled out the light. And said, Vayehi Or. And then there was evening, and there was morning. And then there was evening, and then there was morning, and then there was evening, and there was morning until Shabbat came. And then there was evening, and there was morning, and God made it holy. We are in the night. We know this night. It was at the night when they knock on our doors. It's at night when they came for us. It's at night when they broke the glass of our synagogues, our homes, our businesses. It's at night when they burn the crosses and throw the ropes over the lynching tree. It's at night when they ride against us. It's at night when we hide. It's at night when we run. It's at night when the tofets glow the brightest. But we know our Torah. We know what it says. Vahi erev, vahi voker. There is evening, and there is morning. In the morning we rise. In the morning we find joy. In the morning we gather. In the morning we sing. In the morning we hope. In the morning we pray. In the morning we hope for a new future. Not just for us, but for all people. For all peoples who are the victims of hatred. For these attacks were not just attacks against Jews, they were attacks against our very humanity. And so one more prayer. One more prayer that we may call this world good again. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov. Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah. Hu yivarecha kol hakahal hakodesh hazeh. And kihilot hakodesh hem uvenehem uvenotehem v'kol asher lehem. May the one who has been the source of blessing for our ancient ones, for our mothers and for fathers, give a blessing for this congregation, these holy people, along with all holy Jews who gather together to choose to make life together in holy community, them, their children, their sons, their daughters, along with all those who wish to come together in faith, to pray that one day we can banish all hatred and bigotry. Oh God, may you come to bless us. May you come to bless those peace officers who protect us, them and their families. May you give good counsel to the governor and to the state assembly and to this city council and to our mayor and all those who have chosen to serve us to make a more perfect union. And may we know that we can be together and that we can create holiness together and that we can raise our children together in peace, security, happiness, and prosperity. And most of all, that we are one people and that what unites us is greater than what divides us. One people, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And together we say, Amen. Let's sing one more song together as we close our night. Shabbat Shalom.
This is a song of healing from the Syrian Jewish community. Refasiri el le'eman. God, heal my woes. Refasiri el neman kiadaro feoman. Refasiri el neman kiadaro feoman. Ateroshi shoreh al-shi. فتن كوح لنفسي أتروشي شورح الشي فتن كوح لنفسي تتاح شعر رحمي رام شوخين بمرومي شعار هراحميم رام الشوخي بمرومي عالأفدخا سمحة سنخا إن براحم بلعدخا عالأفدخا سمحة سنخا السيف في במהרה דרור קרע לעם בן הגבירה במהרה דרור קרע לעם בן הגבירה. So as not to end with sadness.
Just wait one second. To be young and cute, good God. Wait just 1 second. A very special thank you before we finish to the rabbis and cantors who made this service tonight, to Cantor Barron who put all this together. Really remarkable. Thank you. To this wonderful, wonderful crew of musicians, to David Spear, to Rabbi Jay Levy, to Bob Een on the cello, to Cantor Toby, to Cantor Barron, to Cantor Fox, to these wonderful rabbis, our wonderful, wonderful guests, Carol Karansky of the Jewish Federation and Ron Wolfson of Densmore Avenue. Thank you so much for being our friends and part of this. To the wonderful faith leaders who came tonight to share their voices, their hearts, their souls with us, the Reverend Father Bob Honeychurch, and the remarkable, wonderful, wonderful Dr. D. Thank you so much. We have a custom in our faith. You say, "Af simchas," we should see each other at happier moments. So we'll be together for happier moments, I promise you. Tonight, we are joined by members of the Los Angeles Police Department, and we want to salute you. Gentlemen, tonight 3 of your colleagues sit in hospital in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, because as shots were being fired, instead of running the other way, they ran into the danger. I can't imagine what kind of physical courage or ethic of service that takes, but we know that it's not just tonight, but that every night you're watching out for us. You have our regard, our respect. Thank you. And to the guards, the NASTEC security that helps us keep the campus safe, and to all who make this possible, thank you. I think that's everybody. Tomorrow morning we have Shabbos. Starts again, Torah study in the morning, a bar mitzvah, Torah study again. Next Thursday night, which is November the 8th, is the only announcement. Next Thursday night, November the 8th, is the 80th anniversary of Kristallnacht. Kristallnacht is the night the nightmare began. We have members of the synagogue still with us who were there that night, who witnessed it, and they're going to come next Wednesday night, and Thursday night. It's Thursday night, November 8th. Next Thursday night, you can come Wednesday too, but Thursday night, and they're going to share with us their memories of that night. As well, we'll have a reading, a professional play reading of a marvelous play created by our dear friend Michael Halpern, which comes from the transcripts of the meeting in 1936 when the Nazis decided to destroy the Jews of Europe. There was a meeting. There was a decision made. It was a calculated, careful decision. There was a debate. That night is recreated in about an hour play, a reading of a play. Come next Thursday night and remember how that nightmare began, and commemorate that evening, that nightmare with us next Thursday night. Tonight has been a marvelous night of music, of prayer, of togetherness, of warmth, and I want to thank each and every one of you for coming tonight. We have put up guards and we have put up gates to protect us from the nightmares outside. But there is a deeper kind of protection, and that's a protection of the soul. The moment that nightmare reaches the soul and teaches us that the darkness is permanent, that we can't fix what's out there, that hate can't be cured, the moment we give up, the moment we surrender to cynicism, the moment we surrender the dreams and visions and aspirations and hopes of this Torah and of this people, then the nightmare wins and we lose. But that dream of an olam chesed yibaneh, a world made of love, that dream cannot be protected by guns or guards or gates. That can only be protected by the solidarity of a community, by the love we share with each other, by a deep faith in Torah, a deep faith in the learning and the ideals of our ancestors, and a renewed vision every single day. That is the most precious gift of the Jewish people to humanity, and is the most precious possession we have. Make sure tonight that your children and grandchildren know that they're safe, that this democracy is powerful and strong, and we have friends from every faith community, peace officers, and friends who protect us. But more than that, make sure that they never succumb to the cynicism that says, you can't fix this. It is the way it has to be. That's the end of our dream and the end of our hopes. Morning comes when we say, Olam Chesed Yibaneh. There's a better world, a better place, a better existence, a better coexistence, a deeper sense of peace that we can all share. That is the great dream we are committed to. Thank you for being here. Rise now together. Put your arms around each other. Grab each other close. Bring each other together. Olam Chesed Yibaneh.
Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Yalla nay, 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 yalla nay, nay. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Yalla nay, 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 yalla nay, nay.
Is he there?
Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Yalla nay, 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 yalla nay, nay. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Yalla nay, 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 yalla nay, nay. I will build this world from love. Yalla lay, 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 yalla lay, lay. And you must build this world from love. Yalla lay, 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 yalla lay, lay. And if we build this world from love, yalla lay, 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 yalla lay, lay. And then God will build this world from love. Yalla lay, 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 yalla lay, lay. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Yalla lay, 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 yalla lay, lay. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Yalla lay, 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 yalla lay, lay. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Yalla lay, 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 yalla lay, lay. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Yalla lay, 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 yalla lay, lay.
If you see Craig Talman in the parking lot, give him a hug and a kiss and say thank you. Shabbat Shalom.